Hi guys, my name is Nikhil and you're watching Excel in Excel. In today's episode, we'll be talking about a really cool formula, which is the VLOOKUP formula. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. And before I start working on that formula, I just want to remind you that you have timestamps available. And I'll try to cover two or three different ways of using the VLOOKUP formula. So you can jump in and out easily through whichever way you probably want to find or you find easy to use. Yeah. So firstly, what does VLOOKUP do? So I have this sheet which I just downloaded off the internet, for example, right? So I've got different athletes. I've got their age, their country, the sports that they play, and how many medals they've got, right? And I'm looking at data which has 8,600 lines. And when I just have this box on the right, this is my target area which I'm looking at right now. If I want to see which sport Michael Phelps plays and how many total medals he has, and similarly for these athletes here, uh, I mean, I don't want to go and search by pressing Control Find and looking for Phelps, for example, and then when I get the cell here, then I go on the right and see, oh, okay, his sport is swimming, and these are the total number of medals that he's got. What VLOOKUP allows you to do is it allows you to use a formula instead of doing any manual work, and this is how the formula works. So I just press OK, equals to VLOOKUP, and then I open the bracket. So it's going to ask me for my lookup value. So lookup value is Michael Phelps, which I'm looking for basically, right? And when I press comma, it's going to ask me for the table array. So just note that the table array is basically the range that you got to select. So I'm going to start from A1, and I'm going to maybe just use till D because my target is basically coming at D, right? So if I just do this, and I just want to select the whole range. So I'm just going to press Control Shift and the down arrow so that everything is selected, sort of, right? And I'll press column, and then it's going to ask me for the column index number. So what it says literally is insert the column number that you're looking for. So if I'm looking for Michael Phelps, what do I want here to be displayed? What is my target? My target is a sport column, which is A, B, C, D. So it's number 4. So I just press 4, and then I press another comma, and I'm going to look for an exact match. Yeah. So I can just write false, or I can press 0. It's either the same thing, but let me just type false, and I'll close the bracket. And when I press enter, I get my answer by just using this formula, yeah, for example. Similarly, if I had to do this for total medals, I would do the same. I would look at VLOOKUP Michael Phelps again, and then I would select the whole range. And you see the column number I'm looking for is 8. So I'll just type 8 in, and I'll write false, and then I'll close the bracket, yeah. So I get the answers I'm looking for. But see what happens, you just maybe need to remember this. When I try to drag this formula down, I'm getting the answers. Yeah, I'm getting the answers, but look at what's happening to my range. When I use this for the first cell, it was okay. But when I choose the second cell, you see the range is sort of falling down, which with each cell passing. So my tip is whenever you are entering this formula, just make sure that these cells that you have the range, you lock these in, and then you can highlight these and just press F4. So when you do that and you paste this data here, what happens is it keeps the range as logged in. And this is something that's pretty useful. I see a lot of people making mistakes sometimes because they get an error message. But if you lock your range in, you should be completely fine. The second way to do this is instead, I could just select the range that I have. And if I select this range, and instead of A1, if I just type here my table, for example, and what this allows me to do is instead of having this range that I select, if I just use VLOOKUP and I look for Michael Phelps and I look for my table, yeah. So when I type in my table, it knows my selection because I've named my range in a way. And when I do that, I select column 4 and I write false, I get the answer. So this is the other way to sort of use the formula. The way I like to do this is actually a very quick way, which I usually prefer doing it. So let me just remove these formulas and I'll show you how I usually do things. I just maybe type in the formula, right? And I select my cell that I'm looking for, and instead of selecting the range, I select the columns. Yeah, I'll select all the columns in this case. So it's going to select A to H. I am just actually highlighting the columns on top. And you see on top over here, when I'm dragging, it shows you that it's 104857R into 8C. 8C is nothing but the column number. So I can whenever I'm trying to use a formula, I know that if I'm looking for sport, 4C means 4 is going to be my number. If I'm looking for total medals, then 8 is my number. So once I do this and I press 4, for example, I get okay. Oops, this is VLOOKUP, and I use 0. Should be having. Okay, the problem was here, so I should not have a VLOOKUP line. I should just have a VLOOKUP formula. So if I just type in false, I should be getting the answer. And when I drag this down, so I don't have to worry about the range and using those dollar signs anymore, because my range is always going to be the same. My columns are selected, so nothing has to change in that way. Similarly, I could just copy this formula. I just did this from here, and I paste it here. And instead of 4, I will just use a 8, for example, and I will drag this down. So that's my way of using this formula. I hope this episode helped you understand the VLOOKUP formula. If you are liking the content, so please like, share, subscribe, and drop in any comments if you feel like this could be done in a better way or not. But I'm just trying to like show how I've been taught things, and how along the way I started doing things which I found easier. And I believe a lot of other people have, I think, different ways of doing things. So this is just the second way. The third way which I just showed you is more of my style of doing things. I would love to hear if you have any other thoughts. So this is me checking out until the next episode.